I don't want you working longer than you need to. And it's pretty straightforward, but if you're in a position to retire early, even if you're on a very low income, I want you to know that you're working because you want to, not because you have to. And too many of you are actually going, hey, I think I'm in a good spot to retire, but I don't know. And then you're going to look back and go, hey, I could have easily retired 2, 3, 4, 5 years earlier if I just had more confidence because I ran the numbers, I knew what I wanted to do in retirement. So today's video, I'm going to go over what you need to know. So if you're retiring early or even considering it, you know if you're in a good spot. My name is Taublieb. I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast and Vice President here at Root Financial. And finally, I'm a certified financial planner. So you're in the right spot. If you're looking for guidance on can I retire early, how much do I need to retire early, how do I make sure I'm not paying any more taxes than I need to when I retire early, that's everything that I love talking about. And so that's why I make these videos. I invite you to subscribe if you're looking for more information just like this. Now let's hop in. A large majority of you don't need help on what you're going to do in retirement, but you'd be shocked how many people I speak with that actually go, hey, I feel like I have a good financial plan, but I don't know actually what I want to do in retirement. So yeah, I'm excited to no longer have to deal with my boss or commute, but I actually don't know what I'm going to do in retirement. And just thinking I'm going to golf, I don't know if that's going to cut it. So although today is going to be more on the financial side, I want to make sure that you also know how important it is to have a plan for fulfillment, a plan for purpose when you actually do retire, because I don't want you to retire at 50 and go, oh my gosh, I'm just going to sit on the couch all day, which I don't think most of you are going to do, but just putting that out there. Step one here is, what is low income? What does that mean? A lot of you think that you need 2, 3, 4, 5 million to retire. And you don't. A lot of you think you need 10 million to retire and you don't have enough. And you're like, well, those are two very different statements, Ari. They are. And what I mean by that is it really comes down to how much do you want to spend in retirement? That is the first place I'd start. I'm not starting with tax planning. I'm not starting with exactly what returns you should be looking at. How much do you want to spend in retirement? Because if you want to spend $4,000 a month and that would cover all of your needs, that's very different from someone that wants to spend $40,000 a month. And I have some characters, okay, and then I'm allowed to call them characters that I work with that are in Malibu, which is where I'm from, and they want to spend $40,000 a month. Nothing wrong with that if they have a portfolio that can support that. But for a lot of you, you don't want to spend $40,000 a month, meaning if you spend $40,000 a month, it's not increasing your quality of life. Okay, maybe you could do some crazy stuff once in a while, but you don't need to do that. And so I'd rather, yep, I'm in a great spot to retire early and I want to spend $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month or whatever it is that's actually going to excite you. So step one is calculating your expenses. Step two is actually saying, I'm not going to marry those expenses over time. The majority of you that are considering an early retirement, let's just call it age 60, before 65, are going, okay, maybe I'm going to retire at 60, maybe it's 55, maybe it's 62, whatever it is. You're probably not going to spend $5,000 a month every single month until you pass away at age 90 or 95 or 100, which even feels weird to think about. You're going to want to spend a whole lot more while you have your energy and health. Then maybe you're going to spend less when you're in your early 70s, late 60s. Maybe your energy is not the same. And then at the end, you go, hey, I don't want to pass away with $4 or $5 million. What can I do to give more, spend more, you name it. So don't marry your expenses. I want you to start wide and go, okay, how much do I even need to spend so I can do the things I want to do? And then from there, go, okay, how might this change? Yeah, I see the first 5 years, I'm going to definitely want to do this. And there's going to be that added cost of health insurance. So let's make sure I'm planning for that. And by the way, if you haven't seen, I have an ebook on health insurance. You can see it right here. So feel free to download that in the description of today's video. I want to make sure that you guys are all 100% really comfortable and not retiring with what I call head trash, which is, yeah, I think I'm in a good spot to retire, but I don't know, because if markets do this, or if it turns out I want to spend a whole lot more, then I can't do it. So I don't want you to have any of that head trash. I want you retiring going, hey, I want to retire. I want to do all the things correctly from a tax planning perspective, from an optimal investment planning, but I don't want to retire too early. And that's why I call myself the meanest early retirement planner, because I don't let anyone retire too early and then make yourself, go back to work and have to go, oh my gosh, boss, I'm so sorry. Can I please have my job back? I don't want you to even have to debate that. Now, here's a quick pro tip before step 3. And the pro tip is consider part-time income. It doesn't mean do it, but if you're considering part-time income, it makes a bigger difference than you think to your plan. And too many people don't consider it. And so some people say, Ari, what good is it going to do? I'm going to bring in $30,000 a year. I go, it's not $30,000 that I care about. It's $30,000 less that has to come from somewhere else. And then people often go on. I go, well, $30,000 less coming from a $500,000 or $2 million or $3 million portfolio, That's 30,000 that does not have to get taken out, which lets that 3 million grow even more. And that compound interest is really where the value is. That's the real power. So I'll tell people this: you cannot outsave a good investment strategy once you're in a good spot to retire. And they're like, huh? And I go, what I mean by that is, let's assume you have $1 million. You get a 10% return. Great, you got $100,000 of earnings. But let's assume that you maxed out your 401k. And let's assume, keep it really simple, it's $30,500. Well, $30,500, which is the maximum if you're over age 50, well, that doesn't come close to $100,000. Now, it's the opposite when you're early on in your career. When you're early on in your career, the best thing you can do is add more dollars, because if you have $10,000 and you get a 10% rate of return, that's $1,000. Versus if you're actually going to just add $30,500, that's way more impactful. So recognize where you are and going, okay, what's going to actually benefit me more? Is it adding new dollars or investing really well? What I don't want you to do is embrace frugal living. Too many people retire early and start going, yeah, I'm going to cut costs and look at coupons. And now a lot of you, let me say, it's in your nature. You're in a good spot to retire early because you are a saver, and cutting coupons and doing all of those things to put you in the position you are today. But my transparent feedback for you, because I am the meanest early retirement advisor, is not to say, hey, continue to go do that. You could keep doing that and your plan's going to be awesome. But I don't want you to go, wow, my finances are awesome, but my life isn't awesome because I'm spending all my time cutting coupons to save $1 here or there. If you're doing it because you actually enjoy doing it, which really ask yourself that deep down, then awesome. But if you're going, hey, am I doing this because it's going to make or break my retirement? I don't want you even in that position. I want you going, hey, if I didn't use another coupon for the rest of my life, would I still be okay? And I'm going to steal an analogy from my partner, James, who you don't know. This is James's channel right here. We work together very closely here at Root Financial. He's the president and I'm the vice president. James has this amazing example where he says, hey, what if you were traveling and you're in a hotel room and you looked in that hotel room and you saw a candy bar, and that candy bar cost $10. Would you buy it? Most people are like, no, I could go across the street or 10 minutes away to a gas station, buy that same candy bar for $3. Why would I buy it for 10? And we'll frame it to clients and say, what if that's 30 minutes that took you away from your spouse? Hypothetically, you want to make sure you're optimizing your time with your spouse and spending just, every waking moment together. You could absolutely go buy that candy bar for $10 and have 30 minutes more with your spouse. And could you quantify that in the scope of your life? Not really. You can't put that on a spreadsheet. Now, you could go across the street and someone said, Ari, but it's fun for me to do this with my spouse. I'm going to take them and go buy the $3 candy bar. I go, okay, I'll take that because you're with your spouse. But I want to make sure you're actually doing what you want to do, not trying to save $7 here or there if you don't need to. Now let's talk about a pro tip, and this is really kind of step 3 today, which is if you're going to retire early on a low income, you have an opportunity to pay 0% in taxes. That's right, 0% in taxes. Let's keep it really simple, you might have bought Apple stock for $10,000, and now it's worth $50,000. Well, as that's continuing to grow, you can actually pay 0% taxes on those gains, assuming they are long-term capital gains, which means you've held it for over a year, and most people don't even know that. Most people don't even consider the fact that they could pay 0% taxes. Now, some people are like, is this like an Ozark strategy from the Netflix TV show? No, okay. This is perfectly legal, but what you can't do is buy a stock today and sell it tomorrow and pay 0% in taxes. You have to at least hold it for a year, and then you have the ability, based on your income, if it's very low, to pay 0% in taxes up to a certain threshold. And so I go over that in more detail in this video right here of how do you actually pay 0% in taxes. So feel free to check that out. But I want to make sure that if you're watching this video, you're going, hey, what are the main things if I want to retire early and I have a very low income? Number one, can I make it happen? Because you don't need $500,000. You don't need $1 million. The truth is, it depends how much you want to spend in retirement. What are you going to do for income? If you're going to bridge that gap from 60 to 70, if you're going to wait to collect Social Security at 70, are you going to collect Social Security early at 62? Because your plan dictates that you're not going to need to do all these Roth conversions and other planning I talk about. And so you can turn on that income. So obviously a lot of moving pieces here, but really to keep it simple, if you want to retire early and you're going, hey, I have a low income, I don't want to spend a ton of money, consider paying 0% in taxes and say, hey, maybe I do want to spend 4, 5, 6, maybe 7,000 the first few months in retirement as I'm traveling and doing fun stuff. But then it's going to come down a whole lot. I'm going to spend 3,000 a month and 3,500 or 4,000 because I'm not going to have a mortgage anymore. And so I'm going to be able to pay a whole lot less. Less is required for my portfolio then. I want to include that in my plan. But I also want to have a buffer in case I love traveling and I want to continue it and my health is good, that I can keep doing that as well. So a quick video for you guys today, but want to make sure that if you're considering an early retirement, you're thinking through your expenses, that yes, you are thinking through what you want to do in retirement, that you are not leaving anything on the table regarding tax planning. And I have tons of videos going over that. And finally, if you're looking for a cohesive, holistic financial planning strategy, that's what we do here at Root Financial. So I encourage you to apply to work with us if this is something that's of interest to you. Once again, please do subscribe and like this video if it was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys.